Good morning, guys. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupaged, and I wanted to show you how I took this Kentucky bourbon whiskey box and turned it into this, and I will show you how I did this. You can ask around, you can ask some of your friends or go on FreeCycle or Craigslist to find boxes like these. And I took this particular box. Now you see it's got these letters in there, they're kind of engraved in there, and I didn't want those to show. So what I did was I took some of this whipped spackle, all of this is on my website by the way, and I just made a quick swipe over these letters just to cover that up. I put it all aside to dry, and this dries so quickly and it sands very easily. If you've got one of these labels on the end, just take a hot, wet rag and hold it over there, and you can wipe this away. And any residue that might be left over, you can sand away with a medium grit sandpaper or nail file. I'm using a chip brush here because the wood on this isn't very good, and this is just the first layer of the paint, so actually even the second layer, I want a nice kind of a draggy, aged look over this box. So once I was done with the first coat of the chalk paint, and I'm not painting the inside, that's the chip brush, I'm just going to put this aside to dry, and this chalk paint dries so quickly, and I've got it outside, so it's going to dry very fast. And now that this first coat has dried, I'm taking a little bit nicer of a paintbrush, and I am adding a second color of chalk paint over this. And I did experiment with the chalk paint underneath these napkins because I thought the white might look nice, the seafoam green might look nice, a blue color might look nice. And what I did was I painted a piece of watercolor paper with each color and decoupaged the napkin over each surface to see which one looked better. And this color absolutely looked beautiful underneath today's napkin. So I'm using this to cover the rest of the box, and I'm not putting on a very thick coat. I'm kind of dragging it a little, and I'll cover the whole box except for the bottom. I'm now taking a nail file and I'm wetting it just a little bit because that goes through the paint, the chalk paint, even faster. And I just want to age this and distress it a little bit before I decoupage the napkin on here. And again, anytime you sand, make sure you go back in with a damp cloth, this is just a paper towel, and wipe away anything that you've sanded away so that you have a nice, smooth, dust-free surface. And now that our surface is all dry and clean, I'm taking my napkins and I'm going to go right down the center with the center of the crease with a wet paintbrush here, and I tore this apart. I also want to make sure that I don't have any hard edges, so I'm going to go along the edge and just carefully pull away any of those straight edges. You can wet it, or you might find that you have a little bit more control if you just use your fingertips. So I'm using just my fingertips. I don't want to wet this. I'm being careful not to pull any more of the napkin away than I need to. But look, it turns out that the top of this is going to overlap anyway, so I don't have to worry about that top piece. And don't separate your napkin to the one ply until you're all done tearing away those edges. Now what I'm going to do is take napkin decoupage glue, and I do sell this on my website. It does make it a lot easier to work with napkins. And just in the section where I'm going to apply the napkin, I put the decoupage glue down. Then I lay the napkin down carefully. And you can see I'm going to pull the edges a little bit. Now, you can use saran wrap here if you find you need it, but since this is a nice flat surface, it's okay to just lay the napkin down. Now you want to take your decoupage glue and work from the center of the napkin out. Because this is napkin decoupage glue, it won't tear the napkin, and you can apply it while the coat beneath it is still wet. Now you'll notice that I've got some excess hanging over the top there and the bottom. I'm not going to worry about that for right now. But just around this top edge here, I am going to apply some decoupage glue and move the napkin over the top of that. Follow the same steps. And I'm just going to move around the box and continue these same steps. So I'll apply the decoupage glue, and I'm going to line up the edges. Now they're not going to match exactly, but that's okay because the color underneath matches these so perfectly. So I'm just going to place the napkin right over the line where I have the other napkin. I was just about to place the napkin down, but the breeze kept blowing this excess piece over the top, and I was afraid it was going to get stuck. So while it was wet, I just took my nail file, and make sure you only file in one direction and make sure it's going away from your piece so that nothing sticks to the decoupage glue. And you see I have a nice clean edge there. And now here's where I'm placing that second piece right up alongside of the edge of the first napkin, and it's okay to overlap here. And I'm just going to follow these steps all around the box. These napkins are available on my website. The link is just below, but they do sell out quickly, so if you'd like to get them, you may want to head over to the link just below this video. It'll take you right to my website where you can buy these. Now that I'm all done decoupaging the whole box, I'm going to put it someplace to dry, and I want to put this in the sun. So what I'm going to do is take a large-ish piece of aluminum foil and place it on top of that because it almost bakes that decoupage glue on and makes it even stronger. And once everything's dry, I'm going to go around the top and the bottom if you need to, wherever you need to, and I'm going to sand away any of the excess. And I'm now taking some pearl colored, this is the Martha Stewart multi-surface paint, and I'm taking a very flexible toothbrush, and what I'm going to do is add a little bit of water. Sorry, I'm off screen there. I'm taking a little bit of water, and I mean maybe 2 or 3 drops, and adding it to a little bit of the paint. And now I'm putting the brush in there, and just to practice, what I'm going to do is flick some of this paint onto this craft paper that I'm working on so that I could see how heavy of, it looks kind of like a galaxy, how heavy of a splatter that's going to provide. That's just about what I want. So I'm going to just go back into my paint, and I'm going to use my paintbrush and splatter over the outside of this. You may want to skip this part. I believe myself that it looks a little bit more like the ocean, and I'm trying to get that ocean feel here. So I'm going to go around the whole box, and I'm going to splatter a light coating of this pearl paint all around and let that dry. Outside in the sun, this took about 15 minutes tops to dry. Now that everything's dry, I'm going to be using the triple thick paint on and the Martha Stewart coarse glitter. And I'm also using, you have to use a bristle brush, an artist's brush, when you're working with the triple thick. You cannot use a sponge brush, it will eat it up. It will not apply correctly. And you want to be careful with this triple thick, only because if you apply too much, it will drip. The whole idea of the triple thick is it is a very rich, deep gloss, and I'm going for a watery effect, so I want this to be very shiny. The triple thick also doubles as a glue, and I'm going to put the Martha Stewart glitter all over this because I want that sparkly ocean effect, which I was able to get, and I'll show you later in the video. And while the triple thick is still wet, you want to take the glitter and you want to sprinkle it over your surface. You can do this as heavy or as light as you want. I tend to like a lot of glitter. I know some of my friends out there are with me and they love the glitter over the whole surface. And I'm going to go around the whole box and repeat those same steps. And now that everything's dry, I'm out in the backyard this morning and you can hear the birds all around. And by the way, I will show you how I did the top of this box, which is just a piece of plastic. I wanted you to see this brilliant glitter in the sunlight. Now you can see the colors, you can see the top of the box. I'll tell you how I did that in a moment. And I am so excited with the way this box came out. Even the top, my little curly cues, and you can see I got carried away with the glitter. I don't know if you can ever have too much glitter, in my opinion. I know some of you are going to say, of course you can't have too much glitter. So here's how the box turned out, and I'll just tell you quickly what I did over the top. So since this was a gift box, it came with this clear sliding panel that hid the liquor, not hid it, but showed the liquor underneath. I spray painted this with this Rust-Oleum matte robin's egg paint. And this is a multi-surface paint, which does work on plastic. You want to make sure you're using a plastic spray paint. Then I let that dry. Now this star on here, the starfish, I just took some Elmer's glue, well first of all E6000, to glue it down onto the surface because I needed something to help me open and close the surface. And I just took a paintbrush like this and I dipped it in some triple thick. And I made little kind of wavy patterns on the top here. Nothing special, no stencil or anything. I just kind of free-handed it. And then I used a combination of a blue and a green glitter and just shook those over the top in keeping with the ocean theme. And then another thing that I did was I took my Elmer's glue and I applied it over the starfish, this Elmer's glue all. And I applied more of the coarse Martha Stewart glitter over that surface. I then took my same paintbrush, once everything dried, I took the same paintbrush and I kind of pounced around the surface and added more of the Martha glitter. Used the triple thick again to pounce it on here. And everything is now dry, and here's how this box looks. And I'll take it back outside so that you can see how it looks out in the sunlight again. And in the meantime, my friends, thank you so much for all of your subscriptions, your beautiful comments and compliments. I can't get back to everyone anymore. I just don't have the resources to be able to do that. But if you do go over to my Facebook page and you click like and follow, you'll be notified every week when I either put a new video out or a brand new blog post. So every week I do one or the other, or sometimes both. And if you go over to Upcycle with Decoupage on Facebook, you can also ask me questions if you need to. And if you are lucky enough this summer to get away to a beach resort, a lake house, or a ski chalet, wherever you'd like to go, this whole project could be done outside. I did the whole thing outside with very few supplies, nothing toxic. I just kept a little waste bag next to me so that I could throw out whatever I didn't need. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing. I will do my best to keep new videos coming out every week. It does get a little bit challenging, but like I said, I'm either doing a blog post or a video every week. And hope you guys were able to grab a latte or an iced tea or your favorite coffee drink and just sit down, watch the video and relax and get some inspiration. And I will see you guys next week with another video or a blog post. Thanks again, my friends. Bye-bye.